Brand new year, new hopes, new dreams, indeed. And for some of us, we share those with the people, the partners, the spouses that we've been together with a good long time. And I know there's an old saying that says, don't sweat the small stuff, meaning don't over focus on something that maybe you can't get right. Keep trudging along. But life is made up day to day of the small stuff. And when you look back, that's the life that you live. So the small stuff can be important, especially to a marriage. And I know the good doc has thoughts on this today. Dr. John Braccio, PhD, at drjohnb.com, Regional Psychological Services of East Lansing. Good morning and Happy New Year to you.
Well, good morning to you and Happy New Year. And I think we don't have too high of a bar to try to have a better year with all the turmoil that we've had. Back on marriage relationships, there certainly big things are important. But again, honeymoons and big vacations and big trips and big get-togethers are not really what make up the 90-some% of a successful relationship. So I think it's important to really focus on the smaller things that make up a good relationship. And these are things that include, giving ongoing positive and honest compliments, strengthening positive aspects of the relationship, to listen and try to better understand concerns of your partner, regularly share positive feelings you have being in the relationship. That's very important. Reinforce and support goals and dreams of your partner. Regularly do unexpected small things that show caring. This could be a small thing, like it could be a flower, it could be candy, it could be just small, even a trinket, or call it what you will, but noticing. And then jointly problem solve even on small matters. And appreciate and notice the small things that make up the bulk of the time of a relationship. Because if you really think about it, in a marriage or a long-term relationship, it's really the 99%, 95%, whatever it is. It's just the day-to-day living, sharing, talking, being together, raising children, maybe doing whatever activities it might be. But those are not the big activities. They're the day-to-day, and those are the things that really determine if a relationship is going to be effective, or if it's going to end, or if it's going to just, float along or be very positive. That's kind of the way you really have to look at it. We often don't think of it. We often look for problems, and we don't look upon good things that we can do to build on in our relationships.
When you counsel couples and married couples, and I know you touch on this, what do you find out from them? What do you hear most often? I mean, obviously, if somebody comes in and there's a major issue, or there's infidelity or things like that, that would be one thing. But do you count the small stuff in that general good communication between compatible people category?
Often when meeting with couples, which I do a lot of, they're really not communicating well. They may be bickering. They don't appreciate each other. They kind of take things for granted, and each can do that, by the way. They each expect the other person to do certain things. That's why I come out with the idea of cue card. Okay, don't expect somebody to know what you're thinking. Try to let them succeed by letting them know what's important to you. And a lot of times, too, Dave, there's so much anger and frustration and old, if you will, beefs, if you will, from the past, that even when people decide they want to communicate and work on things, they often have these complaints and these things from the past that they have trouble getting over, almost like a PTSD situation where they keep coming back. I always indicate, work on small things, work on positive things, remember why you got together in the first place, and just a compliment, just noting someone, you look nice today, or you did a good job on that, or I really feel appreciated, or I really enjoy what you do. These cost nothing, and they really reinforce the relationship, or even just letting the person know, I'm very happy in this relationship. I just want you to know that our being together is really pivotal. And if you have a family, you can be talking about how you have family together, how you share things. And even without children, without family, you still can have aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, call it what you will. You just want to be applauding and being a cheerleader for your marriage, for your relationship. And unfortunately, most people, a good share of them, don't do that, Dave.
You say the expression then is important. I could hear somebody in my mind going, well, what do you mean am I happy? That goes without saying. Sometimes it's important to say, though. That's what you're telling us today, even if it's a small thing. And you mentioned with a trinket, a token, the words combined with that, that could actually be a pretty big deal.
Yes, and I don't want to minimize the word trinket because that could take a negative context. I just mean small things are noticeable.
Stuff, yeah.
Small stuff are really noticeable, and it's really pivotal to do that. But really to applaud the relationship where you are, how much you enjoy being with the person. And when I work with people, they'll often say, well, that's obviously true. I haven't gone anywhere. I live here. I bring a check home, and I say, well,
I haven't packed my bags yet, but that doesn't count. Right, exactly.
But you need to be more intentional, more in terms of cherishing and respecting and caring for the person you're with. And if you don't have those feelings, that's when people get into marital work and they know the need to work on things and to try to kick out negativity from the past, but even more focus on the positive things that are there, and they can be the small things. And Dave, really, when you really think about it, it is the small things you mentioned in the introduction, too, that it's what makes up the vast majority of a relationship or of life. It's not the trip to Hawaii, it's not the trip to the UP, to go to places you haven't been or whatever it might be. So I think that's really pivotal that we focus on positivity and we intentionally applaud the relationship, build on it, and try to minimize negativity and just work on why you're together, why you're sharing a life together, and let it be because of joy and pleasure and what you're really looking forward to and the things that you have now. Yay, how does that sound? Positive view.
It does. If someone's listening and they say, you know what, I don't think I do enough of this. In fact, I don't think I really do it much at all. And I don't really know how to start because I just don't. What would your advice be?
Just notice something. Walk in the house and say, boy, things look nice in the kitchen. Hopefully they do. Or just say you look nice today, or it's nice to see you, or it's always a pleasure coming home. Just things that just a person might not normally say. They might be thinking it. They might say, well, of course I feel that way. I come home every day and there for 30 years. And I say, well, okay, but just make the comment. Because we're not trying to deal with problems here. We're trying to deal with things that have strength and are good and move forward with them. I find that when you deal with a couple or anyone about this, they often want to focus on the negative. Well, we don't get along on this or that. And I'd say, okay, I'm sure that's true. But why don't we try to focus on good things and do things that cost nothing and things that are intentional in a good way, noticing someone, listening to their concerns rather than saying, oh, there you go again, or it's really no big deal. Don't worry, the world's going to be here tomorrow. Those are really conversation stoppers. And the person may be doing it trying to be helpful, but it doesn't resolve the feelings that the person has. So it is important to sort out what the person thinks and try to be a problem solver, work with them. Try not always to be giving advice unless you're asked for it. Just a lot of times people want to really just talk out a problem and how they feel about it versus just coming to a solution. And those are all things that people learn that effectively live, in a relationship with someone. So these are good things to be doing, and these are positive things. And again, look at what you have, and even take an inventory of your relationship and say, where are the good things? What are the things we can build on? But again, I find more and more people take each other for granted, or they don't make positive statements, or they don't really bring the things to enhance the relationship. And you really have to do that. You're like a gardener. A relationship is something that needs watering, pruning, and sun every day.
Nurturing, exactly.
Nurturing, that's what makes it effective.
Tending to it, and hugely, hugely important. Also, not something particularly onerous or hard. If it's genuine and you have these things, you just haven't maybe expressed them, it's a very easy thing to do. If none of them exist, well, you've got other issues, and you'll be calling up the doc. But these are for people who can make some of these rather holistic moves in their life now with their spouse, and take a good marriage, one maybe that's had some length of time, and improve it, make it even better, or at least be willing to shine a light on it more for the good things. And you say that's important to do, and indeed it is. And people who've been involved in long marriages know it is all bits and pieces and small stuff that add up to a great deal. 2021, doing the intentionally seemingly small acts to improve a marriage and relationship with the good doctor here. drjohnb.com. If you go to drjohnb.com, the website, you have the podcast there on this and many other topics. This won't be there just yet. Give it a few minutes, but there's a lot of other stuff there. And we always enjoy talking to you. Again, Happy New Year. Good start and a good topic for the new year. Until our next time, take care. Stay safe, okay?
Well, for sure, Dave. You have a great day, and this is going to be a good year. I have a feeling already. Talk to you later, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. Amen to that. We're back here shortly on the Morning Wake Up. Don't go away. 1320 WILS.